We begin this morning by recognizing outstanding achievements in journalism that has had a positive impact on a community. The American Legion Fourth Estate Award is difficult to earn. It is a testament to the demanding nature of the competition and the quality of entries. Not only do the reports have to be informative and entertaining, they have to provide a tangible benefit to society. Being honored in the broadcast category is WXIA-TV, an NBC affiliate in Atlanta. Chief investigator, reporter Brandon Keefe revealed a serious communications problem between emergency dispatchers and cell phone called in his 10-part series, 911 Lost on the Line. As a result of the broadcast, both the private sector and the government have called for improvements which would make us all safer. Please turn your attention to the video monitors.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
I'm in a car in a lake.
Where?
She's in a lake and her doors won't open?
Did she say where she is?
Give me the address one more time. It's not working.
Fairway, S-A-I-O-R. It's all going off,
Ma'am, I lost her.
Why didn't they have that address? We typed Batesville at the Fairway into Google Maps and it came right up without using road or street or the zip code like the victim did. But 911 doesn't use Google Maps. Instead, they use computer-aided dispatch. This is a computer grid connecting the radios and the telephones to GIS, the Geographic Information System. This is a hyper-accurate proprietary map that has every house, every firehouse, every fire hydrant in the city. But it has one fatal flaw. It stops at the city line. If you hit a cell tower outside their jurisdiction, they don't know where you are.
If the phone had automatically routed to the correct jurisdiction, this very well may have a different outcome.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Every day we receive calls. We get a tower address and that's it.
You have reached the AT&T National Compliance Center of AT&T. If you are calling from a 911 emergency center, or if this is a life or death matter, press 4.
AT&T Compliance, this is Judy. How can I help you?
Hey, Judy. It's Alfreda Police in Georgia. We need subscriber location and subscriber information on a 911 call we just received.
All right, give me a moment. Okay, was the 911 hang up?
No, it's a female drowning in a lake somewhere.
After more than 3 minutes listening to hold music.
All right, thank you for holding.
Yeah.
I tried pinging the phone once already, and it came back that it's either turned off or at a location where it cannot be pinged. I'm going to try one more time, okay?
Okay, thank you. Shoot.
By that point, both Chanel and her phone were likely underwater, which is why the AT&T operator couldn't ping the phone's location. But remember, both AT&T and the 911 center already had the location of this pond. They just couldn't see it.
The false sense of security that we've all been spoon-fed. If you call 911, the help is going to be on the way. And that's not always the case.
We took that question to the state capitol and Georgia's committee that oversees 911.
This is it. Georgia's permanent 911 advisory committee. You'll notice all 15 seats are empty. There's no one at the mic, and there's nothing on the agenda. This committee hasn't met for years because there isn't a single member currently appointed.
I
cannot get this address to come up.
And they're screaming, call 911.
I'm trying to find you on a map.
You can't find the address?
For what address, ma'am?
Give me the address one more time. It's not working.
When a member of Congress calls 911 from the nation's capital, the call could go here. Oh, I'm not in Washington, D.C. I'm across the Potomac River in Virginia. The call could just as easily go to a 911 center in Maryland, causing confusion and costing precious seconds.
Across the nation, cell phone calls still routinely go to the wrong 911 center, and victims are still lost on the line.
You know, my sister, this could be you. This could be your neighbor. This could be your mom. This could be your sister. This could be your dad. It's not isolated at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you from Atlanta, Georgia, Brendan Keefe.
The American Legion 2016 Fourth Estate Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Journalism is presented to WXIA-11 Alive. For its 10-part series, 911 Lost on the Line, this Atlanta-based NBC affiliate told the shocking story of Chanel Anderson, a 31-year-old woman who drowned in a sinking car while calling 911 from her cell phone. Brandon Keefe's reporting has encouraged software developers to launch new apps, Georgia legislators to demand answers, and the FCC to call for 911 center improvements. 911 Lost on the Line, presented at the 98th National Convention, September 1st, 2016, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was worried this early in the morning it would be an empty hall, but it seems like there's a lot of retired military here who not only got up before me this morning, but made a bed so tight you could bounce a quarter off of it. But I also have a feeling you're waiting to hear from someone else at this podium, so I'll make my remarks brief. Thank you to the American Legion for this distinct honor. The Fourth Estate Award is coveted by journalists because it is bestowed by men and women who serve this nation with courage, and because this award acknowledges the power and responsibility of a free press to shape public opinion by informing the electorate. I dedicate this award to my father, Staff Sergeant Daniel Thomas Keefe. I think I brought a photo of him with me. U.S. Army, retired. Hopefully we can put that up. There he is. Here you can see him in Fulda, Germany as part of the occupying forces after World War II. He'd lost his brother, my Uncle Franny, over the Pacific, and still, of course, went overseas himself. I'm pictured 55 years later embedded as a reporter with U.S. Army combat engineers in Kirkuk, Iraq. You may notice we're both smoking cigars out of the same corner of our mouth, separated by more than half a century. I only wish I'd found these two photos of us posing next to comrades in combat before my father was buried with full military honors a decade ago. My father carried a rifle, I carry a camera, but we were both defending democracy. Because I'm here to tell you that an informed electorate is the cornerstone of any successful democratic republic. Blaming the media has become a national pastime. If you can't combat the message, shoot the messenger. Sometimes that criticism is unwarranted, but I'm here to tell you oftentimes it's not. Many of the media's wounds are self-inflicted. We live in a fascinating time where anyone can publish their thoughts to the world with no media filter whatsoever. But this news landscape rewards speed over accuracy. Getting it right has lost out to getting it right now. There's an entire industry. Think about it, that there's an entire industry of fake news websites, literally fake news websites, winning clicks and advertising revenue, operating like a manual virus where we are willing, if unwitting hosts, happily spreading false rumors. We are all guilty of clicking share before conducting a basic Google search to see if that salacious headline is even remotely true. Meanwhile, print newspapers are vanishing right before our eyes, and the 24-hour cable news outlets have chosen political sides, marketing their stories to the political left or to the right. And all of us as viewers share the blame by selecting a single news source that most closely aligns with our already firmly held political beliefs. I'm here to argue that local television news is the last bastion of aggressive, fair, investigative journalism with no agenda, and I am fortunate enough to work for leaders who believe in giving us both the time and the resources to answer more than just who, what, where, and when, but the most important part of the story. Why? Why did this happen? How can we fix it? That is how we discovered the 911 system was broken, and more importantly, why it was broken. If I call 911 right now from a phone in this arena in Cincinnati, the call is just as likely to go across the river to Covington, Kentucky, and answered by a 911 center there across the river. Emergency crews would be searching for me in the wrong state because the same cell phone that can summon an Uber car or a pizza to this arena, well, the emergency dispatchers don't have the advantage of all of those things your smartphone can do, and they simply can't find us in life and death situations. We have to fix this. Our 13-part investigation led to the invention of a simple fix that is now patented. The inventors saw our story, and they identified the problem, and in the great tradition of American ingenuity, they set about solving it. The solution they invented will save countless lives. It's now patented, all because a local TV news story started with a single call for help in Georgia. A brave woman named Chanel Anderson trapped in her sinking car. You just heard her voice, her last words, summoning help. And she drowned in her sinking car on the phone with a 911 dispatcher because the system couldn't locate the pond in time to save her life. I am humbled to accept the American Legion Fourth Estate Award, but I am also concerned there aren't enough journalistic boots on the ground. We need more investigative reporters, the special forces of the journalism world, to fight the good fight with no other agenda than pursuing the truth. It's easy to criticize the news media because much of that criticism has been earned. But do not believe those who tell you that aggressive, independent, objective, investigative journalism is dead. It is alive and well and worth fighting for. Thank you.
Before the next presentation, I have an announcement. We are conducting a survey of women veterans. If you are a woman veteran, we would love for you to come to my left, your right. There's a bank of computers, and please take the survey. This will help us greatly understand the needs of our women veterans. The Fourth Estate Internet/News Media Award goes to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel for its series Hidden Errors. Reporter Ellen Gabler revealed that medical laboratories across the nation are not following basic policies and procedures designed to ensure the accuracy of test results. These mistakes have led to broken families, unimaginable stress, and even death. The many examples shown in the print and web edition of the series spurred training efforts, policy reviews, and discussions among federal regulators and industry leaders. Here is a look at the award-winning series.
Every day, millions of tests are done in laboratories across the country. The results help doctors decide how to treat patients. From routine tests like checking cholesterol to life-saving tests that determine how much blood thinner to give a patient who has just had a heart attack. The results matter. But how do you know if your test is right? A Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel investigation has found that labs across the country often don't follow basic protocols that were designed to ensure accuracy for our lab tests. A lot can and does go wrong. Patient samples aren't handled properly. Your specimen could be switched with someone else's. Or the person taking your sample doesn't refrigerate it. Both of these things mean your results might not be right. In other cases, labs fail to make sure their machines are running properly. They don't clean them or do required maintenance, or they use expired chemicals to mix with your samples. All of this can lead to inaccurate test results. Labs are supposed to follow regulations to guard against these problems, but the Journal-Sentinel investigation has found that often they don't. It would be nice to know which labs were doing shoddy work, but most of the records associated with the inspections are kept hidden. Private accrediting organizations that police many labs don't have to publish their inspection reports. And the federal government only publishes a list of labs with problems many months or even a year and a half after issues were spotted. When patients are harmed and sue, labs often settle and require confidentiality. So no one really knows how big the problem is. But here's one measure. With 7 to 10 billion lab tests done in the US each year, even a tiny percentage of mistakes means millions of patients are affected.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ellen Gabler.
Hello, thank you so much for having us and for this wonderful award. I want to first thank all of you in the American Legion for your service to our country and also the community that you've built. My grandfather was a member of the American Legion in Minnesota, and there we go. And all 14 of us grandkids still wear his red commander jacket when we take trips to the Dairy Queen in the summer, when it's cold, of course. And I also want to thank you for your support of the Fourth Estate. I'm very lucky to work at a place like the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. I work there because of my wonderful bosses who are committed to investigative reporting. Investigative reporting takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money, and there aren't enough local and national news organizations that are dedicated to it. I spend my time as an investigative reporter trying to uncover things that people don't want you to know. I always say the only kind of secrets that are good are secrets about surprise parties and birthday presents. But unfortunately, there's a lot of secrets out there. And for this story, I spent many months trying to, first of all, just get the basic records I needed to tell the story. So I put in requests to the federal government. It was very difficult to get these records. And again, these were just pretty basic records telling us what's happening in the medical laboratories that do the tests, that do the medical tests that you and I receive every single year. I still get calls. I probably get a call once a week from a person who has stumbled across my story online. And a lot of the time, they are very upset. Sometimes they're crying. Because they have run into some sort of problem with their medical test and they have nowhere else to turn. And so, they find my article, realize that there's other people in their same situation, and they call me, hoping I can do something about it. So on that note, I'd just like to encourage you to remain involved and active members of your community. Keep reading your local newspapers, be engaged, pay attention to what's going on in your community, and when you see problems out there, tell somebody about it, do something about it. I think too often it's easy to just look the other way and hope that somebody else is going to solve the problem. But we really need your attention and your engagement to speak out when you see something that needs to be fixed. Thank you very much.
Ellen,
The
on behalf
American
of the
Legion
American
2016
Legion.
Fourth Estate Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Journalism is presented to Ellen Gabler for a series of investigative reports of the inaccuracies of test results. The in-depth probe brought about training efforts, policy reviews, and discussions among federal regulators and industry leaders. Hidden Errors, presented at the 98th National Convention, September 1st, 2016, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Thank you, Ellen, for your efforts, and we applaud you. This year's print category award goes to the Marine Corps Times for its series, Inside the Gender Experiment. Reporter Hope Seck examined the impact the requirements to open new combat jobs to female Marines is having in the close-knit community of Marine Corps infantry. Elements of the series have been published in USA Today and cited by Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus. Ms. Seck, who now works for military.com, was one of only 4 reporters granted access to the Ground Combat Element Integrated Task Force at 29 Palms, California, and Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Please turn your attention once again to the monitors.
Gender integration. Here's what's happening. By April 1st, 2016, female Marines will begin integrating into all ground combat MOSs and units. So how are we going to do it? 4 words: screening, classification, qualification, continuation. Males and females applying for ground combat jobs have to pass a new initial strength test before being selected for the job. The recruits must have a specific score on the PFT and CFT, or they will be reassigned. Marines must continue to qualify for the job-specific standards during MOS school. Marines will continue to be evaluated once they reach their units. Screening, classification, qualification, continuation. Learn more at the link above.
Please join me in welcoming Ms. Hope Seck.
My first journalism job out of college was as a military and veterans reporter at a newspaper that some of you may have had occasion to read at some point in your life, the Daily News of Jacksonville, North Carolina, serving Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune and the surrounding community. As I look back now, I realize that I was completely military illiterate when I started that job. I couldn't even read rank. And my saving grace was the veteran service organizations of Jacksonville, including the American Legion, which surrounded me with care, answered my questions, no matter how stupid, invited me to their events, and made sure every time that I got the story right. I also got to know these veterans and was constantly impressed and humbled at how they committed their lives to service. Many of these men and women would plan their entire weeks around ways to serve the community, especially the young Marines and sailors who are daily deploying and their families. And because of that, I knew the town very well because they knew the town very well. And some of my best and most interesting stories were a result of tips that I got from them. By the time I left Jacksonville, I was pretty fluent in Marine. I knew the difference between an ASVAB and an MRAP and where to find a box of grid squares and the keys to the Humvee. And so I decided to stay in military journalism. And daily, I am reminded of what an honor it is to even witness and be part of the military community. I've cried with 24-year-old mothers of two who are now Gold Star wives with husbands killed in action and marveled at their bravery. I've shared jokes with Marines downrange in Afghanistan and enjoyed their hospitality and been impressed at their commitment to their work and the excellence with which they do everything. And this continues, and it is a great honor and a privilege to work with this community daily. And I'll never forget that. I know this audience is perhaps, a lot of you may be critical of the media, and rightly so. A lot of times we're not as well informed on the issues as we should be, and we're not as impartial and balanced as our readers deserve. But I'm heartened and encouraged that the American Legion makes it a priority to encourage and incentivize good journalism, like the stories that we've heard about today. And it's a charge and it's a challenge, and one that I hope I can live up to as I continue to cover the military. So thank you sincerely for this award. I'm deeply grateful and amazed, and I will do my best to make you proud. Thank you.
The American Legion 2016 Fourth Estate Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Print Journalism is presented to Hope Seck, investigative reporter, Marine Corps Times. Inside the Gender Experiment looks at the impact the recent requirement to open new combat jobs to female Marines would have in the close-knit community of the Marine Corps Infantry. Elements of the series have been published in the USA Today and cited by Navy Secretary Ray Mappes. The series is a must-read for anyone interested in this major cultural and seismic shift that will occur in Marine Corps Infantry. Presented at the 98th National Convention, September 1st, 2016, Cincinnati, Ohio.